Hey guys, thank you for tuning in. Welcome back to the Deb and Nina V Show.
My name is Deb.
And my name is Nina. So, guys, welcome back. This is our fourth episode, and today we were talking about slave mentality. It was inspired by a conversation a group of our friends were having just last week, and its grip on Black culture, and basically what does that really mean, and what it's looking like for us, and like as a collective.
Right.
I mean, not all of us are stuck in that. So, what is it looking like to even get out of that mentality?
Right. And it's more than just mentality. I mean, I feel like being mentally enslaved, like we have to say that it started at some point back in slavery days, you know, because these are generations worth of like learning certain behaviors and characteristics that naturally we didn't, you know, it was learned, like it was learned through slavery. And there's such a thing called like intergenerational trauma, you know, which is behaviors, characteristics, stuff like that gets passed down due to that trauma. And we're not even realizing the effects that it still has on us today. And a lot of that, the result is mental slavery. I mean, there's still a lot of, you know, systemic slavery going on. But more so, like, this is just about the mentality portion that we still carry. And really, like, that's just had to have been where it started.
Yeah, I mean, we got no choice but to go back. I mean, it lasted a good 400 some years, and if we look at the time that it became illegal in the U.S., that's what it's 1865. We're looking at a little bit over 150 years. It has not been that long for us to even begin to unlearn all that trauma deep packed in our DNA from that. And with what you're saying, that it's obviously been learned back then, you think of like the Stockholm syndrome. I mean, when you watch TV shows of anything with crime related FBI stuff, FBI shows, right? The captor, and then the capturee, I guess. The person who's being captured. Yes, the person who's being captured, right? Like, y'all get what I'm saying. They have like some type of bond you know, with the person who captured. So it's just kind of like when you look at it just from that small stance of time, 400 years is a huge, long amount of time that we're going to have that imbalance of kind of like that mental confusion of just kind of like especially unknowingly too.
Right. And I love that you said that. There is that, and as well as the identity confusion as well. Yeah. Because what we don't realize, right, as Black individuals, when we are being racist against each other, where do you think you learn that? You know, where do you think you learn it from? We have internalized oppression, you know, where we believe those stereotypes, where we, you know, stand by it. And it's ingrained in us from so long ago that nowadays we're judging our peers. Like now there's such a thing as colorism. There's such a thing as texturism, you know, where the texture of your hair matters. And basically sizing you like whoever looks closest to the white person, you know, gets that privilege, gets to be treated better, gets to, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that fake, like that idealization of that identity.
Right, and those are all things that we're doing to ourselves that we don't even realize that we're just destroying ourselves even more. And then when we have children, what are we teaching them?
Yeah, because we're passing that same thing down to them, and it's kind of like, at what point does it stop, you know?
Yes, and it's down to a point where, like, it is so crazy, right? Like, for example, we're all sisters. We have, like, two more sisters. And then within the group of us, our skin tone varies.
Right.
And we even see that residual of colorism happening amongst us, where it's like, oh, you know, oh, you light skin, or, you know, you're a little dark skin, like, we're not mindful of how we're treating each other, and it's all because of the enslaved mentality that we've had for so many years. And I'm not saying it's going to be easy to just get rid of it, you know, but the first thing to do to try to navigate away from that is to bring awareness to it, right?
Yeah.
Practicing mindfulness, knowing and understanding how you're feeling, why you're feeling this way, why do you do certain things, you don't like certain people, you ever ask yourself why? I mean, that's not even your thoughts or feelings. Maybe it was passed down.
Yeah.
From your parents, from your great-grandparents, and so forth. But, we're at a time where we have our own minds.
Because we're just like walking out here, in this world, just energetically picking up things. And it's kind of like a lot of these things too, what you're saying, you have to be aware of, especially what you're tuning into.
It's subconsciously shaping our thought patterns. Yeah. Our beliefs.
Exactly. And how for all the good that the media is, it contributes to the whole slave mentality. I know hip hop culture and the music industry is huge on that, because it's telling you, because when you look at that slave mentality, in the essence of it, right, it's telling you some type of unrealistic, maybe some unrealistic dream, or maybe some addiction that you have and you're holding on to. And in the end, like, all good things, that saying that all good things, too much of a good thing becomes a bad thing, is what I was thinking of, right? So it's kind of like it has to be a balance in everything. So if you're heavy in that music industry, or you're really into the entertainment industry, right, and you don't want to be mindful of what you're tuning into, just kind of like take a step back a bit and like realizing and you're actually allowing yourself to listen to, the thoughts, the stereotypes that it's feeding you in terms of that slave mentality. Because honestly, anyone can get out of that mentality. It's not a set mentality that you're in. So reaching out to a friend, looking into therapy, finding out what you're addicted to, and finding the root of that addiction, because there's always a root to any type of problem at all. So it's just like things like that. It's definitely things to be aware of.
Yeah, and just being mentally enslaved. I mean, it is not something that just affects how we treat each other and behave toward each other, but it also personally impacts your health. Like, back to intergenerational trauma, a lot of things that gets passed down, one including, it's called racial battle fatigue. That is the, prolongedness of like stress and racial environments that causes us to really just be tired and like exhausted. Listen. I don't know about you, but every time the term slavery comes up, it's exhausting.
Oh my gosh, honestly.
And we weren't even part of that era. You know what I mean? Yeah. It didn't even happen directly to you. Yeah. And still till this day, it's still directly impacting you. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And listen, that energy definitely gets passed down, because it is exhausting. It's like, when when Hollywood makes like another slavery movie, I'm just like, God dang, right? Another one. How are we gonna keep talking about this? It's taxing. Like
that is that fatigue that keeps getting passed down due to the stressfulness of this conversation, and what it does to our environments and things like that. And then within blacks as well, because of racism, there's hypertension is huge among us.
Oh my gosh.
And that is due to, that's why we're more likely to get high blood pressure and things like that. Yeah. All that didn't just come out of nowhere. Yeah. It's not just because,
imagine all that stress. Yeah.
So it's just, personally impacts your health. It just, your self-esteem is not there. I mean, I'm thinking of like, I wonder what our self-esteem was like years ago.
Right, exactly.
Where just like white people can come in and think they can just take some shit. You know what I mean? Like, how was it like for us back then? We'd be like, okay, like you just come in and
you was walking like a real king and a real queen, I bet, okay? The power and that presence.
Right. So mentally, we have just really been like cracked down, guys. And we are great. We've done great things even during slavery. So I'm not trying to take that away from us. Food, culture, music, all of that came about during slavery. And you know what else? It didn't shape just like U.S. culture, but it shaped us globally as well.
Yeah, internationally.
So we've done a great thing, but that very thing that we've done is also now being used against us.
Yep.
Because we're not being mindful enough. We're not being conscious, and people are trying to get away from the conversation, not realizing that if you forget history, how do we know it won't repeat again,
Yeah, and dealing with just your mind, because that's going to be your greatest asset, your tool, right?
Absolutely.
So it's kind of like you really want to make sure you're taking care of that, what's happening on your mind, because like that the saying of like you want to sharpen your tool. You want to make sure your mind is functioning. You know what doesn't, the stereotype that you're wanting to feed into and what you're not, and just anything overall. But take care of that. Take care of your mental. Like make sure you have that free thinker attitude. Question everything, and because it's honestly that's the only way you can really be free. Free yourself with that, with knowledge and just love and I don't know, everything else. Yeah.
Yes, and it is then after you free yourself that other people see you as a free person.
Okay.
Like, well, it'll just be like, oh my gosh, she's so happy, she's so free, she's so herself. Like,
I love that.
Not pressured by any, just stigmas or stereotypes. Be free of all that, guys, and just really get to know who you are and be that.
Okay, and we're loving that for you, okay, because it looks great on you, so definitely continue. And guys, if you learned anything new today, definitely let us know in the comments.
Or if you have anything to add about being mentally enslaved in the U.S. and what that means to you or everyone around you and how it's impacted you, please also share that in the comments. We want to hear about it.
Yeah, and don't forget to like and subscribe. And thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you all next week.
All right.
Bye-bye. Bye.